traveled halfway across the world to a country I've wanted to visit for so long, a town in a country that is booming with tiny houses, to visit these. Was it worth it? Let's go check it out. Alright, so welcome to the inside of the Bataliku tiny house. So this tiny house is a little bit taller than your traditional American tiny house thanks to the extra high ceilings here. I didn't get a chance to measure, but I'd say they're probably about 15 feet or so up to that top point. Now in the States, we can only go up to 13.5 feet, and that's on the exterior, taking the trailer into account. That's just basically the road regulation so that we can go under bridges. But because this is not on wheels, it's built on a foundation, it doesn't need to adhere to any sort of road regulations. They probably do have some city zoning regulations and building codes here locally, but I'm completely unaware of any of that. So just to give you a sense of sizing before we dive into the tour. So this tiny house is pretty similar to a standard size. So it's a little bit wider at 10.5 feet and it is 24 feet long. And then up in the loft, it measures about 10.5 by 10.5, giving us a total footprint of 362 square feet. So still very small, but thanks to those high ceilings and the extra 2 feet in width, it definitely feels a lot larger. And then not to mention that beautiful outdoor living that you guys probably already saw a glimpse of. We have a beautiful space outside that is completely private for you guys to enjoy during your stay here. We have a fire pit area in one corner. We have a covered patio with some nice couches, which is a great place to enjoy some tea or your breakfast. Unfortunately, for whatever reason, the entire country of Turkey is incredibly cold right now, which is probably why you see me in a sweater inside the house. But yeah, definitely no chance to have a meal outside and definitely not to get in the pool, unfortunately. But if you come during a warmer time, then I would say spend most of your time outside because the owners definitely put a lot of emphasis on giving you a nice private fun space to enjoy outside. So that is definitely the highlight. But coming in, I'll give you guys a tour of the inside and show you around. So when you first walk in, the first thing you'll notice is the living area on that left-hand side. It's really nice thanks to these huge windows on both sides, as well as that window up at the very top. It brings in tons of natural light all throughout the day. And we have a nice couch on that side. Not as comfortable as I would have liked it to be, but it definitely suffices. And we have a single chair on this side. And the highlight, in my opinion, of this tiny house is definitely that wood stove in the corner. It actually has a real chimney built into it that you can see on the outside. So we have that nice exposed brick running along the inside as well as the outside of the house. Just gives it a really nice accent to the space because we do have quite a bit of white walls running around the house. It's definitely the focal point of the living room, and I would highly suggest, especially if you come during the colder months, to actually use it to make a fire, and it definitely will help keep the house a little bit extra warm. We have a TV up there, which I didn't use, but I'm sure it has some sort of streaming services, or at least some local channels for you guys to check out. Of course, we have some firewood provided, but that's basically it. They also have these little tables that you don't have to use because we actually have a dining table over here, but I actually enjoyed having my breakfast and some tea in the living room. It's probably the most comfortable part of the house, so why not enjoy it? Moving on to this side of the house, we have the small kitchen area. So the kitchen is essentially a kitchenette. We have a 2-burner induction cooktop on the left side. It just rests on top of the countertop. We have a small circular sink. And on the right-hand side, I was very unsure of what these two appliances were. After some digging and researching, one of them is actually a Turkish coffee machine, which it's a very different way of making coffee, but essentially it's like a tea kettle, but you put the water in the coffee, and if you like adding sugar, you put the sugar in there as well, and you basically boil that all together. And when you pour the coffee, it's gonna basically come with a lot of those really, really finely ground grounds. And so my first time trying Turkish coffee in Istanbul a couple days ago, I described it in 3 words: incredibly strong. Well, that's 2 words: strong, chalky, and sweet. So that's how they make it. It's not my personal favorite. And I actually, before coming to Turkey, I thought that coffee was a lot more prevalent and was kind of the drink of choice. I didn't even think tea was an option. And when I got here, I just, through some people watching and asking locals, I come to find out that tea is actually like 95% the preferred choice of the Turkish people, and they drink it all day. They definitely have to have it with their breakfast. They sip on it all throughout the day, and you'll definitely find some people drinking it even after dinner. So instead of making my usual coffee, I use the tea machine, which is very interesting, and I won't get into it, but you guys can look it up. We have a little bit of storage up top, underneath as well, and a mini fridge. And then we also have a table for 4 people. On the left-hand side, we have the bathroom. So this is basically just in the corner of the house. We have a flushing toilet. We have a small vanity with a little bit of storage underneath and up top as well. And then we have that beautiful corner glass shower with the sliding doors that slide into the corners. It's a bit of a tight squeeze. It's not my favorite shower in terms of functionality, but I do think it looks really nice when you're not using it. We have a bit of storage on this first floor, so you can store your luggage, your bags. You can hang some things, I think. But that is pretty much it. We can take these stairs behind me up to the loft. Now, my favorite part about the height of this tiny house is that you can actually stand up in the loft, which is one of the biggest critiques and things that people really dislike about tiny houses and building these loft bedrooms is that usually you can't walk in there. And most people just really don't like that. I don't love it either, but in my full-time house, I don't have a choice. It's the cards that were dealt, but it's really nice to actually be able to walk around the bed. It's a full-size bed up there. It's pretty comfortable, and you have windows surrounding the bed, so you get tons of natural light up there and more pleasant way to wake up in the morning. But my favorite part about this stay by far is the hospitality of the host, Jaehoon. So he went above and beyond. Honestly, I was sent to the wrong address through the Airbnb app, and I tried to message him, and he came and picked me up a couple miles away, brought me here, served me some tea. And another thing that the host offers during your stay here is they actually provide a full Turkish breakfast with some tea, with some bread, some jams, honey, butter, an egg, some olives, everything that you could possibly crave in the morning: sweet, salty, savory. They provide a beautiful arrangement of things along with a kettle of some delicious Turkish tea and bring it to your door in the morning. Not a better way to wake up out here in the countryside in Sapanca. All right, guys, so that is the tour of the Bataliku tiny house out here in Sapanca, Turkey. The moment of truth, my honest opinion on whether or not it was worth it to come all the way here to visit and stay in this tiny house. Well, I have 2 answers. For me, for someone whose work revolves around traveling and shooting these tours, and coming from someone who actually likes the adventure of getting lost, of not speaking a local language and trying to find your way to a place like this, a place that's not super easily accessible from the main sort of tourist attractions. It's not in Istanbul, so you can't just fly into Istanbul and show up here. You have to fly into Istanbul. You have to get a metro about 30 stops to Gebze and then take a fast train to Sapanca, then walk here or take a taxi. It's definitely quite the adventure. If that's something that you love, then yes, I would recommend it. But if you like a little bit more easygoing access to places that you want to stay at, if you're someone who likes comfort, if you're someone who likes getting to a place easily and just relaxing, then I wouldn't suggest coming to a place like this. Now, I don't expect any of you to even consider this or put this on your wish list, but I am really excited that I made it out here to be able to showcase a little bit of the tiny house movement that is very prevalent and booming here in Turkey, specifically in this town of Sapanca. I have seen tiny houses being built here over the years through Instagram And it's really exciting that the movement is growing worldwide, kind of separate from the tiny house movement in the States and in other countries. So I'm really glad that I came here, and I hope that you enjoyed the tour and got a little bit of design inspiration from some of the elements here in this tiny house. With that, I will leave you guys. If you enjoyed this tour, I would greatly appreciate it if you left this video a thumbs up and considered subscribing to the channel so that we can continue connecting with other people who are interested in these tiny house tours, as well as connect you to other tiny house creators in this space. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your weeks, and I will see you in the next one.